Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Leadership Download, where technology meets teaching. I'm your host, Bernice Samuels, and on today's episode, we are diving into one of the biggest buzzwords in education right now, artificial intelligence, what we mostly know as AI. I'll discuss how it's impacting educational leadership through four key areas: data-informed decision-making, efficiency, and equity and inclusion. We'll also talk about some of the important ethical considerations that we can't ignore. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in. So, what exactly is AI? AI is basically computer technology that learns from data and recognizes patterns, right? It can analyze students' information, generate text or images, and even adapt lessons in real time. For educational leaders, AI is more than just classroom tech. It is a leadership tool that helps us make smarter decisions, run schools more efficiently, and give students more equitable opportunities, right? For example, as Holmes mentioned in his article, AI carries real promise for improving both teaching and leadership when they use it wisely in education. So, one of the most powerful roles of AI in leadership is helping us make better decisions with data. Schools are full of data, as we all know. For example, we have our test scores, we have our attendance data, we have our behavioral trackers, right? And with all this data, sometimes it becomes very overwhelming on the leadership team, right? So this school year, my school had the opportunity to join this school year, I had the opportunity to join the school improvement plan team, right? And one way we implemented the use of AI was by inserting our school's data as a whole and prompting the AI program to provide us with the growth that we've made in areas and so it provided us with the areas of growth and our areas for improvement. It was even able to suggest strategies that we could use to strengthen the areas of improvement for the upcoming school year. That analysis helped us to break down our data much faster than we normally could. All right, and as Holmes mentioned in his article, AI can help educational leaders move beyond institution and tradition by transforming raw data into actionable insights that guide school improvement, right? And from my knowledge, that's exactly what I experienced, right? Instead of drowning in spreadsheets, we walked away with clear directions for our future school year. Now, we also have to be honest. Leadership comes with a lot of paperwork. Between scheduling reports, endless emails, it sometimes feels like there's no time for people, right? So this leads me into my second point, the efficiency that AI can provide our educational leaders, right? AI will help to lighten these loads that I mentioned earlier, right? It can draft communication, suggest schedules, or even pull trends from attendance data. In some schools, automating some of these tasks means teachers spend less time buried in spreadsheets and more time for students. So reducing this administrative burden is one of AI's greatest benefits. It doesn't necessarily replace leadership. It just gives leaders the time to actually lead, right? Another important impact of AI is really promoting equity and inclusion. Not all students start from the same place, but AI tools can help personalize learning so no one gets left behind. And I think this is a very important point for for educational leaders to understand. For example, implementing adaptive platforms like Dreambox, which can easily adjust to each student's space. Leaders can use the data to spot gaps across groups. Maybe, for example, English learners probably need extra support in one area, or advanced students need enrichment in another, right? And programs like Dreambox will automatically do this, right, for each student. In my own school, we've seen how this kind of data supports differentiation, right? Teachers give exactly what each student need, and the leaders can allocate resources more fairly. So, I think my biggest takeaway here is that AI can support support personalization and equity. It is also good to note that AI isn't just a tool for leaders, right? It is something we need to introduce students to, because it is shaping the world that they'll graduate into one day. For example, one way that I've actually included AI in my classroom lessons is I once led a project where students had to create a digital storytelling with AI animations, right? The results was very powerful in my opinion. Students weren't just consuming the content, they were actually creating it. I've also seen teachers use AI for study guides, right, where it allows students to take ownership of their own learning. However, we need more schools and more teachers to be doing this, and that starts with the leaders, right? Educating the teachers how to incorporate some of these ideas into their classrooms. AI is really reshaping how students learn and express themselves. So by bringing something like this into my classroom, or by we bringing this into our schools and into our institutions, we are really preparing them for the future. Now, of course, we can talk about AI. We cannot talk about AI without talking about ethics, right? It is one of the biggest concerns with incorporating AI into the real world. Leaders need to be thoughtful about these considerations, right? First off, there's bias. AI systems only know what they're trained on. So if the data is biased, the results will be too. So leaders must question and monitor their systems that they're putting in place into our schools. Secondly, one of the biggest concerns is privacy, right? Because we already know our students' data is very sensitive and we must protect it. One solution that my district had came up with was that they partnered with Google Gemini in a way where they get more control over the privacy and the security of students' data, right? This shows how leaders can adopt AI while still safeguarding students' information. So, here's the takeaway from today's segment. AI is here to stay. For leaders, it means better decision through data, more time to focus on people, new opportunities for equity, and creative ways to engage students. But it also means new ethical responsibilities. If we embrace AI thoughtfully, it won't replace leadership. It will empower it. Thanks for joining me today on the Leadership Download, where technology meets teaching. Remember, when we use technology with care, we lead students toward brighter futures. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep leading with tech.